weavers, tailors and cats, three little divils that never got fat. This is Donegal, on the northwest coast of Ireland. Rugged, remote, beautiful. These mountains by the sea were the final stronghold of the Earls of Tyrconnell and Tyrone. Long ago, these hills rang with the shouts of warriors, the tramp of armoured feet. The Earls are gone now, the battles are over, but every rock and every tree and every face carries the legacy of the Earls, a proud and independent people. The old traditions still live on. The hardy mountain black-faced sheep still graze quietly on the hillsides. And the age-old tradition of spinning and weaving continues almost unchanged. It's a hard county. The Atlantic is not always peaceful, and the people have had to challenge the sea and the land to survive. Our best painters have come here to capture these colours, these contrasts. But long before them, the weavers had seen, appreciated, and blended the yellows, browns, greys, greens, and blues into the living artistry of finely woven cloth. Men like the three McNeilis brothers who live here at Sandfield. Connell and Jimmy do the weaving, and John looks after the house and the garden. None of them has ever married. John enjoys his life. It's hard work, but it's a way of living that many a city dweller would envy. He has clean air, beautiful countryside, an affinity with nature and all living things. John McNeilis remembers his mother spinning yarn. All the women did in those days. Strangely, though, they always bought their cloth in the McNeilis family. There were 7 children, 2 girls and 5 boys. They're scattered now like so many other families from this county. England and America provided work when there was none at home, so they left. No doubt believing they would return someday. But John and Connell and Jimmy are still alone on the family's small farm. There's no one for John to teach. His great breadth of knowledge will die with him. This is not the tragedy that it might appear, because in his own life, he has achieved that diversity of function that makes for a depth of understanding in a man. And his mind is rich with memories. The spinning wheel in the kitchen, the great pots by the turf fire where the newly spun yarn was being dyed, great cauldrons of colour. And the colours came from the land itself, from the flowers of the gorse, from the bark of the trees, from pools of bog water, from lichens growing on the rocks. One of the lichens, called crottle, is still in use, but most of the dyes nowadays are synthetics from the chemical factories. But the colours are still as beautiful as ever. Someday, the small weaving sheds will disappear and be replaced by the large central factory where microprocessors and computers will organize and supervise the production of stereotyped cloths. And the men who operate them will long for a way of life in which every facet of their personalities can be developed. There are no demarcation disputes in the weaving sheds of Ardra. Mustn't that smell beautiful? Another well-made currant cake.